Welcome back to the Launch Point Leader Podcast. I'm Beau.
And I'm Lori.
And today we're switching it up on you a little bit. And I've got the letter to read for Lori to comment on it.
Absolutely.
How do you feel?
You know, it's a little different on this side of things.
It feels a little awkward.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it'll be great, though. Natural.
But you're going to nail it, though.
I will.
You're going to nail it. Okay.
Or you won't be hearing this.
Or
So if you're hearing it, I think things went okay.
Dear Launch Point, as a leader, I know innovation is critical for growth, but the higher I grow in leadership, the more nervous this makes me because there's always the flip side, managing the risks that follow. Sometimes it feels like too much focus on innovation creates instability and uncertainty, especially when the team or organization is already stretched thin. At the same time, being too risk averse and sticking to what's safe stifles creativity, and we end up missing out on potential growth or better ways of doing things. I often find myself second guessing. Am I pushing for change too aggressively or playing it too safe? How do I give my team room to experiment without risking too much, or worse, causing friction when ideas don't take off? So what I want to know is how leaders can effectively walk through this tightrope between creativity and pragmatism. That's a great word right there, pragmatism. Right? What strategies can we use to encourage innovation while maintaining the stability that teams need to stay grounded and the business moving forward smoothly? I also wanted to say thank you for the valuable insights that you share, Lori. I think she was sharing this with you. Your episodes have helped me reflect on many aspects of leadership, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this topic now as well. Thank you. Cautiously creative.
Thank you so much, Cautiously Creative.
That felt good.
It was great. You did. You're a wonderful letter reader, if that's what that's called.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Not
pleasure. Nearly as good as you are, but thanks for letting me try.
You didn't have to say that, but I appreciate it.
Kick us off. What do you say to Cautious?
Yeah, you know, as I was listening to this letter, I really was thinking back through when I first started, and my background's in food service, and I was just filled with ideas and excitement, and you know, I was just constantly spinning. And I think about one time I was a few months into the job, and someone that was my boss at the time gave me a project. And they said, hey, here's something we've been struggling with. Why don't you try this? And it was a different way of rotating our frozen chicken, as exciting as that sounds. And I took that topic, something 6 months previous I had no cares about, and I said, I'm going to spend my day off in this coffee shop. I'm going to research everything I can about it, and I'm going to revolutionize the game. And so I present this plan to a team, the next leader meeting we have. I wasn't even technically a leader yet. You actually probably don't know this story. And I was like, I don't know if they're going to like it. Whatever. We did it. We put it into place. And through the time I actually spent at that restaurant, probably for the next 8 or 9 months, that's the way we did it. And it was just so cool to be able to see like something I did was put into place. And then I got promoted and I went higher and higher. And then I'm the one making decisions, and I really felt this. I felt kind of the ideas started to dry up sometimes as I started to think about all the other things that I had no idea what was happening at that point, right? I was just focused on rotating frozen chicken. I wasn't seeing everything. And as my brain got more and more filled, I really felt this. And so I guess my first point is to say, it's okay to feel that way. I think it comes naturally. There's more things your brain has to focus on. But as you ask, you know, at the end, you really said, what are just ways and strategies you can manage this? I think what my boss did at the time was a great first strategy. Ask somebody that's new and has fresh eyes on the situation. Give them that chance to take ownership. The idea and the pressure doesn't have to come straight from you. Then the second place is forgive yourself from being perfect. You are going to make a decision that isn't going to go well. But good news is 99.9% of the time, it's not going to go as badly as you think it is. I have a great penchant for making up the worst scenarios in my head, especially at 3 a.m. On the dawn of some new decisions, right? I think of all that can go wrong and reminding myself that I have to think about the what ifs of what is going to work and what is going to be better. And we've talked about here before, you know, Beau, you've really made a great point of saying, you've just got to take ownership with your team when you mess up. No one's going to expect you to be perfect. You've got to let go of some of this pressure on yourself. So I think, first, utilize the resources of your team. There's people out there that have really exciting ideas to grow. But when you talk about how to balance it and how not to cost the growth of your business, put yourself some guardrails in place. I wouldn't go crazy and change everything overnight, but give yourself permission to fail a little bit. Start smallish. You've probably got an idea in the back of your head that you've been thinking about for a while. Try part of it, if not all of it. Just go for it. And when you see and give yourself proof that it can work, that's going to give you the courage to take a little bit bigger of a step and make a little bit more of a decision. And when something goes wrong, don't revert back to your old ways. Say, here's the opportunity and how we can learn from this. And I guarantee something from what you tried is something you're going to be able to carry into the future.
I love that story.
Thank you.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know.
I didn't know that.
I could tell as I was telling it.
Well, thank you for spending your day off in the coffee shop,
Absolutely.
Considering all things chicken.
I did.
Right?
I researched all of it. I had notes laid out. It's like in the movies when they're like doing the research to crack the case.
That's amazing.
It's just pictures of chicken everywhere.
That is amazing. So I love the things that you said there. One of the things I guess two things that stood out. You've touched on both of them, so I'll just do briefly and then give you some thoughts. But the first was you made something better and you took it personally. So I think that part of this scenario is not just letting it be another thing on your plate. If there's something that that's like smaller and it needs to be changed, it doesn't have to be you that does it. So give it to somebody that's going to really take a real personal interest in it and let them run with it. And then, I think you touched on, it doesn't always have to be the big L leader that makes all of these changes. Use somebody that is really engaged in the business already and give them a project, because a lot of times they just love to take that and run, and they'll present ideas that you actually would never have come up with or have thought of. As you were talking and I was considering the letter that I so beautifully read, the idea of I keep a leadership toolbox, and one of the things in it is a slinky. And so that slinky for me, as I think about this idea of balancing change and maintaining stability in an organization, that slinky to me represents what a leader has to do, right? Because if you ever know, now if you're younger, a slinky used to be this metal, I should have brought it, but it used to be this metal object that you could kind of, anyway, just look up what a slinky is.
Do you really think kids don't play with You have kids, I guess. Do your kids know what a slinky is?
They know what a slinky is because of my toolbox.
Because
I talk about it, but not because they play with it. But a slinky is this really unique toy. The original ones were metal. And if you stretch it too far and that slinky gets a kink in one of its small metal rings, it never goes back to what it was intended to be. But if you don't stretch it enough, there's never enough momentum for that slinky to actually do some really cool things. Like if you've got a metal slinky, go home and put it on your stairs and then just start with the top, flip it over to the next stairs and watch that slinky roll all the way down the stairs. Yeah. So that's a picture of momentum in the business. So as a leader, you've got to stretch the business with new while you maintain the business with systems. So as you stretch, you've got to read the room and know that you can't stretch too far that it'll never go back and like you'll hurt it. But you've got to stretch it far enough to where you'll have some early adapters and some things that happen that create momentum that everybody else follows, and the company gets a boost because of the momentum you created with this new thing that you're doing, or this new idea or this new initiative that you might be doing. So that's what I was thinking as you were going. I talk about slinkies, so it's my pleasure to bring that to our Launch Point world now. But absolutely. I think as a leader, have systems that make the business run as routine, and then go, where can we really focus in on here to either tighten up or to really go, could this be better? Right? It's good, but could it be better? And if it could be better, what's better look like? And as you do that, don't go whole across the business wholesale change. Go like the chicken, one thing at a time.
Right.
Let's make this better. Now let's use the momentum we got from that to then carry it over and make this process better and this idea better. And realize that sometimes you're going to stretch people a little bit further and the business a little bit further than just creating a new process around something that has to be done. You might be introducing a totally new idea or a new way to think about a concept that you do. And when you do that, you better be all about it as the leader and be completely bought out, sold in with doing it yourself and then teaching your team how it connects back to the purpose for why you did it.
Yeah, and something I want to highlight you said there earlier is you talked about the solid foundation, because in the letter, the idea of stability and stable and keeping things running smoothly just came up a lot. It's a big theme, and it's clearly something they really care about, right? And I think that's exactly how you introduce ideas while doing that, is having that solid foundation, having your core systems in place, as you want to grow. I think sometimes it's surprising how little changes and updates can do a lot of growth. It doesn't always have to be huge overhauls.
Yeah.
But when the time comes and there is time for big overhauls, exactly what you said on, you need to be all about it and make that the thing, right? Not one of many things going on. That's not the time to make all the little changes, but that foundational thing. But then otherwise, have your solid foundation, and it's okay to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good, man. I love it. Do you have anything else that you want to add around this whole idea of balancing tension and continuing to create a normal process?
Yeah, I think that really wraps it up. But I guess I would like to also shout out my services. If you're having trouble rotating your chicken, I would be happy to give you some insights into that.
Or rotating anything.
That's right.
For that matter. Right.
That's true.
Well, thank you so much for writing in. If you ever have a question or want to interact with us, you're welcome to write in at what is it, Lori?
advice@launchpointleader.com.
See, look at that. We are a great team.
Absolutely.
And we just innovated too. We innovated.
Constant innovation.
Some of it was good. Your part.
I think all of it was
Some
great.
of it was not so much, but
except for the email thing, I think everything went wonderful.
Thank you guys for listening, and we look forward to seeing you back here next time.
Thank you.